Well, welcome back. We're on our third video of the Große Deutschland 40 Battle for Stone, and it's the TCS system, and we're looking at the end of, barring a few administrative bits and pieces, the end of the 5:40 a.m. turn. It's just about to roll on to the 6 a.m. turn. We'll get some air and things like that for both sides. And as you can see from the last couple of videos, a significantly different situation now. A lot of paralyzed units on the board, a lot of suppressed units on the board, and lots of little red counters underneath lots of little German units. So to say that the initial advance has gone smoothly would be somewhat of an understatement. There's a little hex here. This little hamlet or village of I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that because I'll just butcher it, and then someone will hit my one feeling and tell me that I pronounced it wrong. So this little hamlet right here. Let's get in close there and have a look at that bad boy. Was occupied by a let's see. It was occupied by 2 machine gun units in the end, and 1 squad. And combined firepower on several different times have failed to result in a decent suppression or paralyzation of the forces there, and we didn't even knock a step off until finally I amassed quite a few units around, took some step losses doing that, and paralyzed the guys that were in this hex. And of course, when they're paralyzed, then it's an ideal time for you to advance in and close assault, which I did. And as you can see here, these chaps came in, close assaulted, immediately rolled an 11 for their combat, and the French rolled a friggin' 50-something, and then these guys rolled a 66 for their morale, and they said, nix, we're out, and ran away, getting shot at on the way out. Well, they had to do an SYR, so they lost half their steps, so they retreated out. That was a beatdown. These guys came in, similar result over here, actually. They were from here. And then the very next close assault, because not to be outdone into this hex, I should say, we elected to go in again, and this time rolled a fantastic 66 on the morale check for the French, and that forced them to surrender, and they promptly dropped guns and did their little hands up routine. So very expensive. I took 3, 4, 5, 7 step losses to clear that hex. That is not what I was expecting to happen. Very expensive. Similarly here, trying to attack in here, we took step losses there. There's a correct methodology and to do this, and there's a sequence of events that need to occur in the right order at the right time for these close assaults and these suppressive fire actions to occur effectively, and for it all to not potentially result in disastrous things like just happened there. So that was a classic example of me being over exuberant and overly aggressive in the first instance. Although one would think with the enemy paralyzed that you would be good to go in the assault there. I probably should have brought in potentially 2 squads, 2 platoons, to take them out versus just the one, or at least one with a machine gun, and then pick up some benefits there. So it was examples of poor gameplay. Similarly here, we were trying to get adjacent. We're playing the game of, well, who's going to take the Overwatch fire to move adjacent to the enemy? And that is always painful, right? You move adjacent to somebody, they are going to get a chance to shoot at you. So that's what it looks like when it goes wrong. When it goes right, it looks like this over here. And I'll show you, we'll zoom in a little bit here. So we had enemy unit here, and we collectively fired everything into this hex and got a suppression and a step loss, or two actually, I think, on the hex, on the formation in the hex. And then we had a unit in move mode ready to go. He ran up the hill, charged up the hill, and close assaulted. And the enemy was vaporized in one shot, one round of combat. Thanks for playing, because the return fire was going to come after, because they were paralyzed in the close assault. Any returning fire or any reciprocal close assault combat was going to happen after the results were applied from this particular attack. So that worked out exceedingly well. A second impulse of fire here, there was a unit here. We rolled extremely well, and in fact use these guys as well. They technically should have a fired marker on them. Extremely well, and we rolled a couple of high rolls there, and those guys booked out of town and conducted an SYR. And in fact, that is inaccurate. That needs to be a 4. So let's just do this. I can't find a 4 right now, whether we'll put that there like that. I keep forgetting to take half the steps off when I do these SYRs. That happens occasionally. All right, so that is just a little update. So we're in the early stages of the opening of the campaign on May the 15th in 1940. The Germans are aggressively attacking and paying the price for being aggressive. We've lost 2 tank units, 1 Stug and 1 Panzer IV or Panzer III. Panzer III. And probably, let's say all up, close to 10 steps of infantry. There are 5 steps in every infantry unit, so that gives you a feel. We've got the entire Grosse Deutschland battalion here, a regiment, and a regiment of storm. No, what am I thinking of? What are these guys called? Storm Pioneer Battalion as well. So there's a full regiment of the Grosse Deutschland, which is 3 battalions, or 4 battalions, and then another battalion of Storm Pioneers and some tanks. So a lot of men, but we've spread some losses around pretty evenly, and it's been a bit nasty. Now, once we clear out these few units, these guys have elected to initiate their fail. They're going to try and find a place to hunker down and get back to their fail location. And all the tanks already failed. They've retreated, and we're now going to be getting ourselves, as the Germans, situated to receive a counterattack at some point when the reinforcements for the French arrive. So we've got a plan for that, but we'll have to start executing on some offsheets and things like that. So there's a quick little update for you, and we are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll be starting the 7th turn of this particular title from Multimap Publishing. Right, talk to you soon.